As an INFJ, do you feel like you're doing so much for the people in your life, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, in any kind of way, energetically, and people are not aware that you're doing it? It seems like it's just happening automatically. You know how this is called? Invisible labor. And this applies to us INFJs too. This is not just about the typical thing that everybody talks about, like household chores or the mental load we have on preparing things or keeping things in mind. We as INFJ do so much for other people that falls into the invisible labor category. And as long as we keep it invisible, people cannot appreciate it. So even if somebody wants to see you, wants to appreciate you, has the capacity for it, they just won't do it because they are not aware that you're the one who's creating all of it. So today, let's figure out how to recognize what is our invisible labor, how to make other people aware that we're really catering to that, make them appreciative of it, and all of that without losing our kindness or the fact that we just want to give because it's part of who we are. Let me give you a quick story of a situation where this applied to me 100%. Particularly in my younger days, I remember meeting my best friend in college, and it was all about what she needed, what she wanted. It's not her fault. I was just as much in this friendship as she was, but I was willing to give myself up. And all I was doing when it came to that friendship is catering to her needs. So if there was something she didn't like, we went home. If there was something that didn't make her feel good, I catered to that. There was so much that I gave up. And, let's forget about the fact that this was super toxic. This was unhealthy on both sides. And thankfully, we've all grown out of it. But it just showed me how much invisible labor I was putting into that relationship. Because up until the point where we talked about it, she had no idea that I was doing all of those things. She just felt like, well, that's what she wants to do, or it's just automatically how things are going. Because particularly a person who's really in pain, they're so engulfed in their own pain, they're so engulfed in their own story, they are not able to see beyond that. They're not able to see what you're doing in order to try to make them feel good. And so it all goes unnoticed, it all goes unappreciated, and the other person isn't really feeling better either. So let's flip the switch. Let's stop doing invisible labor that is not being able to be appreciated and it's not really helping. So you can use that energy for things that will actually make an impact in your life. You will be able to help people on a whole different level. You will catapult your life at a whole different dimension. And it all happens from pulling back all the invisible labor that you're doing currently and that maybe you aren't even aware of. Before we get started, I want to remind you, Bootcamp has launched. We're going to have our first live call this Saturday, November 2nd. So join until then. We won't have any late admissions. So if you want to be part of this round and really start off 2025 at a whole different level, then join our amazing community, be part of this transformational journey, and really see for yourself what you're capable of becoming. Everything you might want to know, you can find through the links in the description. So what is the invisible labor of INFJs? I believe it's super important to define this first because otherwise we won't even be able to recognize that it's happening, that we're part of it, and that we really are giving more than we're supposed to give in a situation. Like, I'm going to give you a really extreme example here, but listening to another person when you're not interested in what they have to say is invisible labor. Think about it. If you're listening to another person, they're telling you things that are hard for you to hear. It's uncomfortable or it's boring or it's just not your way of thinking and you have to really concentrate on that. That's invisible labor too. And as INFJs who really want to understand others, who really want to make a person feel seen, all of that is included in invisible labor. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but it's still invisible. The other person doesn't know, for example, what you're sacrificing in that moment in order to listen to them. They're not aware of how draining it is to you. They're not aware of how draining it is to you to tune into their life, to think about what is going to emotionally trigger them, for example. Like, that's another thing. Imagine you have people around you that you know if you talk about a certain friend, or let's say you have parents and they're divorced and you're talking about the other parent, that's going to trigger the parent that you're talking to. Yeah, that's invisible labor. You're keeping track of the fact that you cannot speak about certain things in order to not make that person uncomfortable. So, the first thing we have to do to really change that dynamic is to become aware of it. And I really encourage you to even include things like listening to a person when they're talking about things that I honestly and genuinely don't care about. And I'm listening to them even when I'm drained, even when I don't have anything left. So first, write it all down, because it doesn't mean that just because you identify something as invisible labor that you have to stop doing it. I, for example, have learned really early on that, yes, I like to listen to people, even if it's about topics that don't matter to me, because I know that they matter to them and I want to be there for them. This is something I want to do. But I'm not going to do that when I'm already drained. I'm not going to do that when I'm already here. And I've learned to really stop it. And that's where we get to step number 2. You have to set boundaries on what you're willing to do when it comes to this invisible labor. You don't have to stop it altogether, but I tell the people in my life, I cannot listen to you right now. I don't have the capacity for it. I tell the people in my life, I know we just saw each other for 30 minutes, but that's all I have right now. I don't have any more to give energetically right now. So that's going to help us, firstly, to not be so drained from doing invisible labor that's not being appreciated. But on top of that, people actually understand where your boundaries are. They understand that this is something that requires effort on your part and you're doing this willingly, but you show how much you can give right now. So you really get a lot of stuff done by just setting a boundary. You stop getting drained. You're still giving because you want to give. You give the other person the opportunity to understand what the difference is between you listening to them, you protecting them, you making sure they're good and not. And you're not doing it because you want to hurt them or anything. It's just because you set a boundary. And as an additional plus, they actually get to know you better. Because through those boundaries, people actually recognize who you are. Because my boundaries are going to be different than yours and so on. Even if we are both INFJs, every single person has different boundaries and in different areas and in different ways. So the more we communicate that, the more we give another person the opportunity to get to know us and to actually give us what we need. And step number 3, we have to communicate our needs. So this isn't just about stopping invisible labor. It's also about making sure that our needs are being fulfilled, even if they might seem invisible to others as well. So that means I need to have some time for myself. I need solitude. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be close to you. I need some time for me. It can also mean that I need somebody to take off the burden of whatever task I'm doing so I can take time for myself. All of those things we have to address, because on the one hand, we take on invisible labor for others that is beneficial for others, but we also take on invisible labor in ways of, I don't want to burden the other person. I'm actually not giving the burden off to other people, although they might be able to carry it. It's necessary to let other people know what you need. So one of the things I really ask people to do is to keep other people away from me. So, I have my friends and my relatives who know, okay, Wenzes doesn't want to speak to that person, I'm going to speak to that person. It's too much for her right now. Or if it's a lot for me to, take on a lot of clutter and to tidy up and all of that, there are people in my life for whom this isn't that big of a burden. Maybe it's much more burden to do the things that I'm good at. So if you're able and willing to take on invisible labor, also allow others to take labor away from you, if it's invisible or not. Because as long as we're not communicating our needs, people cannot take it off of our shoulders. And this can really be something as simple as, I need you to be quiet. I need to not feel your energy right now. I need to be able to excuse myself from some family functions because it's too much for me, and I need this in order to function well. And I'm going to ask you to do this, and I'm going to demand you to do this, and I expect you to respect my needs. I know it's hard for us because we as INFJs, we love to give, and we love to give in our unique way, right? We want to make people feel seen, we want to help them, we want to inspire them, all of that. But if you keep doing things like that and it's not being appreciated because people are just not aware of it, it's going to lead to burnout and resentment. And you know yourself. These are the reasons why things like INFJ door slams happen in the first place. We really need to bring these things up. First off, become aware of it. set boundaries when we don't have the energy to give more, so it doesn't lead to things like resentment or door slam. And simultaneously, we have to ask for what we need as well. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the needs that you have just because they're different than the needs most people have in your life. Just demand them and hold on to them, and you'll see how many people will be willing to really come your way. But that can only happen if you stay firm on it, even if the people around you firstly react in a way of, oh, you're so spoiled or you're so weak or whatever it may be. Some people might get triggered by you voicing what you need and what you're not willing to give anymore, but allow this emotion to go through them, allow them to recognize that this has nothing to do with you and that you still are going to believe that you're a good person while you're asking for those things. And that will actually inspire others to see you that way as well. One of the pillars we discuss in bootcamp and really work on actively is relationship management. And steps like these are part of it. So it's all about taking action. We're really bringing it into our real lives. We're taking action. We're talking about it. We see what the results are. We make our conclusions about it and really adapt our behavior continuously. So this is not just about the theory of it all. We really apply it into our real life. So if you want to be part of our amazing community, taking steps in those areas and really creating a new identity around who we actually are and who we want to be, then join us until November 2nd. That's when we're going to have our first live call. There won't be any late admissions possible, so you still have time until November 2nd to join us. Everything that you might need to know, including the link to join now, you can find in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.